So welcome everyone who is listening. This is Lauren Cadillac, and on with us I have Aaron Cartwright and of course Bree, and this is Signature Block with Lauren and Bree. And today is February 5th. My friend Bree reminded me that this is our first episode during Black History Month in the year of 2021. So I'm super excited about that. Aaron, I just messaged you via Facebook the link to Signature.
I got you.
Okay, so welcome Aaron, welcome Bree. How's everyone doing on this lovely Friday?
Fantabulous.
Yay.
Awesome so far. Give me two seconds here.
Great. So
Aaron,
Aaron,
my Facebook is being real slow. I'm trying to share this to the business page.
oh, good. You should. I know anyone who watches us regularly on Facebook Live, which everyone should. So there's that. But anyone who watches us on Instagram just barfed because I dropped the camera. Sorry. Anyone who watches us regularly on Facebook Live should know Aaron Cartwright because he is our #1 fan. And I think he said he's only missed one episode, which is just so sweet. And Aaron is a close personal friend of mine, and I know he is a close business associate of yours, Bree. I don't know how friendshipy y'all are.
He's my friend. That's my friend.
That's your friend. So, not to say our show is always just our friends, but part of the show is to interview entrepreneurs, and so everyone that comes on our show has at least that in common with us.
Right.
So it's easy to make friends, right? Like we're all hustling and we're all doing the struggle and that kind of thing. And right before we started the show, I asked Bree if she had gotten her PPP2 money yet. I think last week we talked about you had applied.
Yes.
And I think we talked about that on the show. I applied after that show and I already got my money.
Right. And I'm still waiting on mine.
You were still waiting on yours. So I know that's a bank thing. Like, that's got to be a bank thing. My business has been banking with Frost for a number of years. Mm-hmm. My banker is like my friend. And so, he texted me reminders because he had sent me the paperwork when I was out when my dad died. And so he was like, hey, send it back so I can give you money. So Aaron, did you apply for either of the PPPs?
Nope.
What? Why not? That's free money.
Number one, because anything that comes with the government has strings attached to it that, I know. I'm going to go down my conspiracy rabbit hole here for a second.
No, I'm smiling because I've been so anti-government the last 2 weeks. I am right there with you. Go ahead, continue.
No, so I have no problem with, people that, need it, getting it or anything like that. It's just that a wise man hears profit on the wind. And from what I can gather, number one, there are people out there that the government's putting on additional stuff. So a lot of people don't have their compliance right. So they're not keeping track of which account it's going into and where the money's being used at. The government has already said that they're going to be upping the amount of audits in the coming months that they're raising. And I have a funny feeling that it's going to be strongly attached to who got PPP money and not. So even though I didn't get it, I fully plan on, capitalizing on that litigation. So, it's much
so you'll get it.
That way.
You'll get it.
I'm going to get mine without the strings.
Yeah. So, I think all three of us have different business situations, right? So part of our conversation was you said, Lauren's the wealthiest person on the call, and I don't think that's true. But the reason you believe that is because I have a business where I have multiple employees and I offer them insurance and that kind of thing. And Bree, she is truly a one-woman show. And then you, Aaron, I know you have employees, but you don't have the same type of firm and kind of system and process that I have.
I have a 1099 paralegal and one W-2 assistant.
Right. And I have a full-time bookkeeper. So I have had no problem going, okay, here's my PPP money, here's my payroll, here's where the money went to my payroll, because I have a human who can keep track of that for me, right? Now, if that was on me, even if I was like Bree, just one person.
Just so that we're clear, I just want to Yes, it's just me, but I do have a virtual paralegal, and I have
Yes.
that work for me. So
what I meant was just you in terms of the PPP. So your PPP,
yes.
Your forgiveness application was a lot different than mine, right?
Yeah.
Your
right.
PPP covered one salary.
Mhm.
My PPP covered 5, and it's supposed to. The second round is going to continue to cover that. So. For me, I had no fear of the audit. I also do a lot of IRS work. So I'm basically open for an audit, like at any point. I have to mind every P&Q. And so I'm just not even, I wasn't really worried about that. And I would think for you, Bree, it's not as much of a concern either, because it's 1-to-1, essentially.
Right.
But Erin, I definitely can understand what you're saying and why you would avoid that. I mean, that's...
when it first came out, my little shop was doing just fine, and I used to work for the SBA, and so I know what a cluster that place is. And so generally, when somebody said that we're still in review, I'm like, the only thing that means is that the initial rounds were approved, and then they forwarded over to IQR or whatever the heck department it is, and IQR is made out of a handful of people, but they've got several hundred people who are sending them stuff to be reviewed. So they're just behind in general. And whenever it first came out, I'm like, look, I'm not hurting for it. There are people out there who are hurting far more than me. Let me just go ahead and leave that on and, just keep trucking.
And I think too, as a business decision and a business owner, for me, my paralegal has 5 kids. So on a daily basis, I walk around with this, I feed 7 children, I personally feed 7 children. And so when the money came available, I said, I'm taking that. I am making sure that these 7
those are some
children,
broad shoulders you got there.
Exactly. Because I have these 7 mouths just of kids that I feel personally responsible for. So I was like, I'm doing it. I'm securing this money. I'm going to stuff it into my savings. I'll use it for my payroll. I'll stuff everything else into savings. And I'm going to make sure that, these women who have worked for me and been loyal to me and I are able to feed our children over the next year or 2 while all of this weird stuff plays out. Right. And so I think it's just a different business decision depending on your business.
Makes sense. Also, I think that might have something to do with that whole, that thing that I was bringing up to you multiple times beforehand, which is I didn't feel quite worthy to be on your show, given that I'm not a, single female entrepreneur who is also a mother. I don't carry that.
You don't have to be a female mom. You could be.
There was a theme. You had a theme going.
We have had. Well, our last guest, Lexi, she works with moms. And she helps birth babies, so she helps women become moms, but she is not a mother herself. So she's just a baddie.
Okay.
So the key ingredients to the show are you have to be an entrepreneur and you have to have overcome struggle. Those are your 2 qualifications. Okay. So yes, we had a theme.
Which struggle did I overcome though?
Well, Arian, you're a Black man who grew up in Texas, so I'm sure we'll find plenty as we get into that into that section of the show. I mean, honestly, what do you mean, what struggle?
Oh no, I've got a list somewhere.
Okay.
I prepared for today. I have prepared for today, just to make sure that there's all sorts of laughter going on.
Okay, but before we get into that, I want to talk about what you do and how you got there. So you just mentioned that you had worked for the SBA. I'm assuming that was after you had finished your undergrad?
Nope.
Oh, no. Okay, so tell us about that.
2017, graduated from law school at 1 p.m. May 12th, 2017. I know because there's a counter in my phone on this one. So it's actually counting up since my law school graduation, as well as since I passed the bar. So I can have that down to days and minutes. Okay.
Wow.
We need a sign, Bree, or something that says nerd alert.
I mean,
push.
I'm like, wow.
It would be highly advisable if you did have that,
It would. I know. We need a producer. Yes, Bree, we need a producer so we can have a flashing sign so our audience can be aware. Nerd alert, nerd alert. He's counting the days since he became a lawyer. Are you kidding me? I can barely remember what year I became a lawyer.
Listen, I count on Facebook to tell me the memories when it comes back up. That's how I figure it out.
If it wasn't for those Facebook memories, I wouldn't even know what happened in my life.
I don't know what's going on.
Oh, wow. See, the nerd alert could be flashing right now. Nerd alert, nerd alert.
It's been 3 years, 3 months, 3 days, 0 hours, 28 minutes, and 15 seconds since I became a lawyer, since I received my pass notification on the bar exam.
333 is a pretty profound angel number. You guys can Google that. So I love that today, Aaron. All right. So
yes.
When did you
when
work
I passed the bar?
Yeah.
When I passed the bar, I did not have, because, I wasn't one of the top 10, top 25% in the, class, whatever and whatnot. I didn't have a job lined up. And so I'm sitting there, I passed the bar. I'm like, okay, well, what am I going to do now? Well, I started driving Lyft, and then I was working for a lovely broker dealer who I am still friends with. Alanka's awesome. But I'm like, okay, well, at that point in time, I think, the SBA was gearing up for the Hurricane Harvey relief. And so they were just hiring anybody, any warm body with that could type and answer a phone, which turns out I can't do. Kidding. But they were paying $35 an hour regular time, and you had a 20-hour mandatory overtime every week. So we were doing 10 hours a day, 6 days a week, 20 hours of mandatory overtime at 40 some odd dollars an hour. Oh, that money was fantastic.
Yeah, that sounds decent.
But the job, 60 hours a week, just started killing me because while I was working at the SBA, I was taking, small transactional clients. My friends were business owners and whatnot. And once I passed the bar, they're like, okay, well, here's the stuff that we need you to do. Get our contracts prepared, take care of all these small things. And so I started doing that. Well, you're doing 10 hours a day at the SBA, and then you're doing, 4 to 6 hours a night whenever you go home, just in light transactional work, trying to figure your life out still. At a certain point in time, one of them has to give. And so the SBA noticed my drop in performance, but that was like 4 months after the fact. They noticed my drop in performance and said, we really don't think that this would be the best position for you. And I had to agree. So as soon as that was done, I took a day off, did absolutely nothing, besides not have to run a 60-hour week for the first time in 4 months. And the very next day, 2 feet forward, had my DBA done for the firm, opened the operating account and the IOLTA account, and it's been running like that ever since. So firstly, I was not in the top 10 to 25%, and I did get a job out of law school. So it is possible. Lucky.
It's not luck. I just chose a job that wasn't lawyering. I found a good corporate job that my MBA and my JD would fit in real well, but it wasn't lawyering. That's it. So that's how you secure the bag coming out of law school when you're desperate. I mean, it's basically what you did. Yeah. You went and worked for the SBA. You didn't lawyer, right? So you do get that. You can get a job. You just can't exclusively be like, oh, I'm going to work at a firm or whatever. And I think those years are coming for future law students again.
At some point, I imagine that everyone faces them. I actually applied for a job, in that first year, before things were moving the way they are. Within that first year, I was still applying for jobs. You get the usual rejections, non-responsiveness, all that other wonderful whatnot. One funny story to come out of that one is that I applied for a firm, and at this point in time, I'm 6 months in, I'm generating, my little $5 worth of business here and there. It's keeping me afloat, but not super firm level by any means. But I walk into this job interview thinking it's like, all right, I've been doing this for a couple months now. I'm able to support myself. I know how to sell business. I know how to bring in stuff. I know how to work the business from front to back. Like, let's go. I think I'm prepared for this. Well, I get in there, ordinary interview techniques, introduce myself, and then we push the resume off to the side and we start having a conversation. And I let them know, it's like, guys, from day one, I'm here to not only learn, but also to bring business through the door. Well, it took a couple minutes, but we finally got down to the nitty gritty, and they told me, well, we're not really looking for someone to bring in business. We're looking for someone to just do the work. Like, our business brings business. Like, okay, for starters, pause.
Wait, what?
It went downhill from there. Like, you don't want more business? Like, I want to control my own paycheck, though. Needless to say, I'm still a solo. You seem perturbed.
When I hire an associate, part of the requirement is that they bring business. I'm not perturbed, I'm confused. I don't understand. If you want someone to just do the work, you hire an intern. Like, that's what well, I don't know. I personally love interns. Have you ever had an intern, Aaron?
I have had 3, and I want one of them to be an associate. So I've interviewed 5 people. I've had 3 interns. I'm planning on trying to hire one of those interns as an associate at the end of this year. And A&M is letting me be part of their externship program starting in the fall. So now I get free interns as long as I give them substantive legal work.
Okay, so see, that's where I was going. Firstly, one time, the Dallas Bar Association does this thing with DISD to do high school interns. So I got me this high school intern, and he was my intern for like 3 years. He's at SMU now. We're still friends. I'm like, whenever you get out of school, you can come work for me. I'll make you a job. Like, he was that good. Okay, this is like a 17-year-old, and he was just so smart, and he did all this stuff. So I've gotten high school interns again. And then I had a friend who's a lawyer who was paying a law student like $12 an hour to do drafting. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, she does all my drafting and it's practically free, right? So I was like, wow, that's brilliant. So I started hiring law students to do because I hate that legal writing bullshit. So I pay way, way better than $12 an hour.
Right?
Okay? I'm not that kind of
$12 an hour is offensive.
Yeah, this was a few years. This was like half a decade ago. So, but yeah, I was offended by it as well. I think it's the world's greatest thing. And so, like, I have a girlfriend who's an attorney who needs help with emotion. She doesn't have time to write it. And so I just emailed her and my intern yesterday. I was like, intern, meet lady who needs your help. Lady who needs your help. You got to pay her at least what I pay her. Intern's like, yes, and on top of that, my friend who needs the help and my intern, they're both Hispanic women in the legal field. So now maybe they can have like a mentorship, right? And like, that kind of thing. So they do the same type of, my intern is interested in the same type of work that my friend does and that kind of stuff. So, I mean, like, to me, that's like paying it forward, and like if people had come down and given me the come up in law school, I mean, think about that, Bree. If lawyers, and we do know some people who found that, like Ken Bell did that for our friend. We had that. I've seen that, and I want to be that kind of person. I want to be that kind of lawyer. Bree, have you ever used interns?
I did. I used one. It didn't work out, so I didn't use any more.
Where did you get your intern from?
I went on a speaking engagement to at a university in San Antonio, and so from there she reached out to me and was like, I'm so interested. And I'm like, yeah, come on, I'll show you whatever. And then while I'm showing you, you can do some stuff too. And so that's how that worked. But it wasn't like, I think she was either a junior or a senior in college. And so the focus just wasn't there. So it wasn't a long-term thing.
So, I mean, my suggestion is if you need help with like legal crap is to, St. Mary's has a portal. That's how I started doing it. I started hiring alum, like people I'm alum with, so that they're like, ooh, a successful St. Mary's lawyer or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And they have some hope for the future. And they've been a lot of them have been flaky. And I totally, what you experienced after my first high school intern, like that guy was like, my bar was set here, right? Mm-hmm. Everyone else was like, wait, right? Yeah. And I was like, damn, I got spoiled. But the thing is if you can find a good intern, even if you have to go through some bad ones, you can save so much.
Yeah. And right. And so what Aaron did was he shared his virtual paralegal with me, and she's awesome. And so that's who I've been using for legal drafting. Mm-hmm. And so we share paralegals.
You're the one
and so that's
give her back. I have things that she needs to do.
That ain't on me. I promise you I'm not hogging her down. I promise you I'm not. So so that's what's been working for me lately.
Yeah. If you remember our guest Demetria, she and my paralegal is doing some side hustle for her. My paralegal wants to build a house or buy a house this year. And I respect a hustle over everything. You know, I'm married to the game, so I'm absolutely encourage you to get that hustle on. And so I think that's a great thing as well. And I think it's something that we as business owners can do, not only to like help each other, but help our employees. You know, I pay a good living wage, but she has this particular goal she's trying to meet. So she needs extra money for the goal, right? And so I'm like, yeah, I get that. You know, we can help each other. Erin, obviously you helped your paralegal and you helped Bree.
Yeah. That's what it's about. Like, I mean, we're doing this and not helping each other and helping. I mean, that's what this is about. So I will say this. I recently brought on client intake coordinator. Okay. Amazing. Okay. So I have a receptionist and I have a client intake coordinator. Okay. And so she's the one that does all the, you know, here's how to pay for a consultation. Here's how to get on the schedule. She calls the people back. I don't talk to them until they're in front of me at this point. Right. And they've paid for a consultation. I think it's amazing. So the next thing that I'm thinking of doing is actually doing a legal assistant is what I've been thinking about, but I haven't thought about it hard. Like I haven't slept on it really. So I just need to, you know, have a couple of days to kind of figure out what this person would do. But I do have the paralegal, the client intake coordinator, the receptionist, you know, and then my independent contractors. So
very good. Yeah.
Lauren put it best at one point in time, and she said that we need to be brain surgeons.
Okay, so Erin, you have to expand on that. This is what I said. We went to, just like a brain surgeon went to medical school, and then they did blah, 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 and they learned how to be brain surgeons. When a brain surgeon is needed, they walk into the operating room, they bark out to the people around the tools they need, they do what little they need to do, and then they leave. And then a different doctor stitches, a different doctor does this, a different person does this, a nurse does that, right? So the way I see professionals such as ourselves is we are the brain surgeons. And my job should be to come in to the operating room and do the high level, incredibly, you know, the things that only I as the surgeon can do. The things that your law license tell you to do. And then everything else should be done by other people. And that's the way I see it. And I was going to personally, I'm trying to expand into Tarrant County. So what I think I'm going to do is I've been thinking about getting a Spanish speaking paralegal and then take my current paralegal and promote her to higher level paralegal work. Because right now she's doing deeds and things that are kind of more plug and chug. And so if I could have an additional Spanish speaker, I feel like it can hit the Spanish market even better. I already have one Spanish speaker. And then if she's a paralegal, she can truly support my paralegal. And then my intern, my paralegal, and I can be a whole attorney, you know, and I can still do all the marketing and talking to clients and do the show and do the public speaking and education that I really love. So that's something, I actually have a meeting about it later, actually when we hang up today. But I got to tell you, the PPP enabled me to do this because we took PPP in March, April. We had a very poor March and April. I think everybody did because nobody knew what the hell was going on in March and April. But in May and June, we started to recover and the rest of my year looked pretty normal, dollars and cents wise. So that PPP allowed me to not have to pay payroll where I usually would, where the government paid it for a few months, which put me ahead. And now that I'm ahead, I can hire additional staff and kind of fill these needs to help expand my business.
And then we were also talking about not only, because before we got on, y'all made mention of some outside hustles, right? So then there's also, it's not like you just have this and this only. There's other income also that you have in place.
Yes, we started talking about passive income. Yes. Yeah. And I know, so Erin, your business is business. You do business and construction law exclusively. So you would want people.
Some consumer law in there as well. It's fun. Okay. DTPA is just fun.
DTPA is fun. You're right. I I lost my train of thought because the DPPA made me think of Willie Rice. And then I thought about Willie Rice saying the DTPA is very liberal. He had these huge hands, and I sat in the back, and I could see it is very liberal with this. And so thanks a lot, Aaron. Thanks.
You're most welcome.
So you know, of all people, how important passive income is. That's what I'm trying to do.
I'm trying to get on your level.
You're trying to build passive income. I have been trying to build passive income. Well, I take that back. I've had passive income by way of a space that I rented in my own home. Okay. And then I decided I'm going to change things and I'm going to make passive income on other things. I found a way to make passive income on my car. Income on my car.
You're going to have to dive into that one a little bit.
What?
So I had bought myself back in August of 17, I bought a Mercedes E350. It's a very nice car. I had bought it used. I got it for less than $30,000 and it's really pretty. It's really pretty. It's navy with a pretty inside. Anyhow, I found a group that will put and manage the car on it's a platform kind of like Airbnb, but for car rentals. It's called Turo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so this group is called Pure Automotive, and they're in Dallas. And basically you just take them your car, you give them a little bit of money for startup fee. They do obviously a detailing. Mm-hmm. Oh, you should see the pictures of my car. It looks freaking beautiful. They did the pictures it looks like it should be on an F1, intro video or something. I mean, it looks good. And then they manage all of the rental. The insurance is super cheap. I think my insurance expense is like less than $70 a month.
Yeah.
And I took it off my personal insurance. There's a special kind of insurance you have to get. But I started making income off the car. It more than pays its own payment and the insurance. I'm actually literally making income off of the car. Now, I personally have not gone and taken my car back off the platform. I got a new car instead. But I could just as easily go switch my car in and out and, be able to make money on my car and still use it. So
that gives me some inspiration. See, I'm trying to get on your level, but I sent Bree this article, and I was going to, kind of surprise you with it. But
okay.
There is and I'm going to ask your opinion on this. So I believe in the triangle of ideas here. Okay, so the article that I sent Bree was Elon Musk's wife, I think his first wife or one of the billionaire's wives. Yeah, I think it was Elon Musk's wife. But somebody was asking her, well, how did Elon become a billionaire? And she said, you have to get good at one thing, and then you have to get good at something else. And then you have to put those together in a way that people want and desire your that iteration or that innovation that you've created. I would actually go so far as kind of say that there are now 3 points, at minimum, you should consider 3 points. Okay, 3 points. Sorry, I'm getting emails on one side and alerts on the other. So 3 points at bare minimum. So for instance, myself, I have obviously my construction litigation practice, and I also do a little bit of work with government contracts. Well, because I know about the construction side and the government contracts, I also know about the insurance requirements, right? Which is why at some point in time later in 2021, we're going to get, Iron Dragon Construction Business Insurance Company, after I get my property and casualty license. Why?
Yeah.
Because I now have a niche area. I see where private property owners go wrong whenever they hire a contractor to do some work. I can market this to house flippers, payment bonds and performance bonds. And it's not like, any of this is particularly unique. It's just that how many construction litigators do you have that are also familiar with the insurance industry that also know something about the requirements, for bonding as well as how to get them. So,
that's such a good point. So, I have people who want to do real estate transactions between mom and son. She's like, it's his house. He's living there. I just want to give it to him. Well, if I have you give him the house and the IRS audits you, y'all are paying hella taxes, okay? So while I understand you want to give them the house, because I understand the law and the code, the IRS code, I'm going to have you do a promissory note for a gift payment. Now, you're only ever going to keep it in a box for if the IRS comes calling. Let me tell you, when the IRS comes calling, you are going to be so freaking thankful that you called Lauren Cadillac, who understands how the IRS looks at those things, right? And so that I hear exactly what you're saying, and I see what you mean by the trifecta, and then how they blend together. And I think Bree has that because she has her entertainment, and then she has like business and contracts, and entertainment and business and contracts all overlap. Yeah. And then she does family law, but business owners who have contracts often have families, right? And so she can go help them work within the confines of all of that.
I want you both, and I'm going to ask you both to do this. Think about that outside of your ordinary legal practice, okay? Because when you combine, and I am not knocking on anybody's practice at all. I love mine, and I hate family law, so y'all can have that.
I don't do that either.
But
I do family law after everyone's dead.
Just outside of your practice, if you take one aspect of your practice, okay, your entire legal background, what is the second point that you have, and what is the third point that you have? Bree, I'm going to ask that question of you first. So what three?
Look at our guest asking us questions, Bree.
Yes.
Oh man.
Believe me.
So outside of the legal practice, the second point has to be
legal practice is only one. Your legal practice and your legal knowledge can only comprise 1 point.
Bree, the answer is the same for both of us, and it's literally happening right now. We're both working on public speaking careers. Yes. We're both public speakers, and you're on all kinds of shows all the time.
Okay, so public speaking is 2. Now you've got a lawyer who does public speaking, but what's that third aspect? And Bree, don't let Lauren, answer for you.
Well, why not? It's easier.
I know my third. I don't know her.
You got a voice too.
Yes, I do, but I mean, I got a representative. I mean, hello.
No, you've got a.
Okay,
so
I have the legal practice. I have public speaking. And the third point, public speaking.
Look how stressed she is.
Why are you doing this to me? And so the third point would be entertainment.
Entertainment.
Okay, so take that. You got your legal career. What do you do in entertainment? Because it can't
I'm
be
talking about me as the entertainer, me as the then artist.
Okay, are you sure that doesn't comprise public speaking? Because I'm asking you for your unique value proposition that you would add to it.
I don't think the entertainment part and the public speaking part is the same thing.
Okay.
I think the public speaking part
how are you taking those 3 and turning them into something to add an additional revenue stream for you?
How am I taking those 3 to add it? Okay, so then you have the legal part, which is a income stream. You got the public speaking, which is a different income stream. Then you have the entertainment part, which is a different income stream. The entertainment and public speaking aren't the same thing.
So
public
Erin,
speakers aren't necessarily entertaining, and aren't necessarily public speakers.
Well, I think, okay, so Bree, you have your whole I don't like that, which when my dad died, I hashtag I don't like that to you. I was like, I don't like that. And so in my mind, that's your entertainment, right? Your t-shirts, your hashtag, that kind of
my personality, my online personality, all of that. I feel this.
So when I hear what you're saying, the public speaking and that I do see those as separate as well. So I hear what you're saying.
I don't know if Erin is happy with this answer.
I don't know either.
Just for the disclaimer, you just put this on me 2 seconds ago, and now I have to get my entire life together. And so now I will have to think about this for them.
I did, because I'm gonna show you another one here soon. Okay. And this time I'm about to throw it on Lauren too. All right.
Okay.
So for instance, I'm working on another project, right? My knowledge of the law, okay, just because, legal side of life. My knowledge of what's required to get people funding, which is completely separate and aside from that, okay, and my desire to own a bank.
Okay.
So we put them together and we have yet another income stream, a CDFI that I'm working on with a group of other people. So it is completely separate from the law firm. It is going to be completely separate from the insurance company.
Oh, I've got mine. Ooh, my turn.
Go.
Okay. Law. real estate development and real estate. I'm taking law and real estate and turning it into real estate development. Did I do that?
What's your third one? Because
Law.
I've heard of
That
real
is
estate
her third
development.
one.
Thank you, Bree. Okay, hold on. How about this one? Law, public speaking, self-improvement.
Okay, that makes you the next Gary Vaynerchuk.
No, it makes me the next Oprah. But yes, thank you.
Excellent.
Okay, thank you. Because my whole thing is I just want to help people.
Yeah.
And I think the best way to help people is to help them see themselves and like how strong they can be, right? You know, so anyhow, that's it. Did I do it right?
I like it.
Did I pass the test?
I don't know.
Man.
Not
Like
according
I
to
said,
Aaron's face, but I like it.
I'm looking to
I don't-
you for inspiration, you know?
That's my goal. So like, for instance, the other day I had this friend and he's been real kind of depressed lately, right? And you know, this year since July has been my year of gratitude. And so I had talked to him about that and how I'm trying to stay gracious and that kind of thing. Like when I found out my dad was dying, I was really sad. So I wrote in my journal all these gratitudes about my dad, you know? Anyhow, so that friend calls me and he's like in a great mood. And he's like, oh, I'm doing awesome. And I'm like, really? Awesome, great. What happened? And he's like, I thought about what you said about gratitude. And I thought about how great my life is. And I feel great. And I'm like, okay. One down, $1 billion, $2 billion, $3 billion, however many more left to go. No big deal. You've got to start somewhere, right? And I was really proud of myself. So I appreciate that, Aaron. I would like to inspire everybody. You know, like that's my goal in life is to inspire people to do great things.
And to
I
be
just need to be a million.
badasses.
Yeah, to be badasses. Yeah.
To be badasses, yeah. Because it can be done.
By 40. That's you know the tippy top of
To be what by 40?
A millionaire by 40.
That is correct. Yes, I have like less than 9 months left to go.
Not according to your daughter.
Oh, right. According to my daughter, I have 10 years and 9 months to go. According to my looks, I have 20 years to go.
I use a beard to cover up all mine. Nobody knows anything. I got these gray hairs coming in. It's going to be fantastic when they finally come through.
You mean I see it sprouting up.
Say what, Bree?
I said I see it sprouting up. I like it.
I do. I like it too. Bree, do you have grays yet?
Yes, I have a couple that are trying to
work their way out.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know what business they got with me, but
okay. Well, I've got like
you're
3.
Not stressed at all running
I have like 3
practice.
From Noah. I have 3 from Liberty, and then all the rest that I have, which is only like 10 more than that, they all came from this one case I did. I like watched them happen during the case.
Oh.
Yeah, it was a nightmare. The plaintiff was a paralegal, and she worked for her husband, who was her attorney in the case. So she would file like 4 filings a day.
Of course she would. That was.
Yeah, I
I wish
definitely.
people quit doing that. Stop it. Just stop it with the foolishness.
Don't be so extra.
Here's another thing.
What 4 things can you even file in a day? Like I have a very, nice laid out list of motions and whatnot. And I figured that out in the beginning. And I'm just like, I don't
listen.
All your discovery requests had better come at
She
once.
made up stuff.
She made up stuff. One time she did a discovery request wanting her 2 adult sons Google search history. And I responded, you do not want to see what your sons Google. Okay, first. All right. She, in one discovery request, asked about my personal life, about an attack I had been a victim of. So that's what ended up concluding the case, because I went ahead and let the state bar of every state he was licensed in know what he was allowing his paralegal to do.
Yeah, unauthorized practice of law.
Exactly. And under his name, and his signature was on those discovery requests, and so was another lawyer's. So I let both of those men know that their questions were completely inappropriate, and I let the bar know that as well. So yeah, exactly.
Well,
that concluded, and I had like 10 grades, and I call them. Well, I'm not going to say the name because then that's too much. But I call them by her name. So.
Oh, okay. Bet that. I like that. Guys, we have 3 more minutes left for this show. And what I don't want to do is get off and not give Erin the ability, and all of us as well, to plug in our social media, our ways that people can contact us. So Erin, please go ahead. You're welcome. Erin, go ahead. How can they get a hold of you?
Y'all can find me on so many social media platforms now. Don't look
Put
for me
them all
on
out there.
LinkedIn.
Put them all out there.
Instagram at Overnight Empire, Facebook at also Overnight Empire, but also Aaron Cartwright III, attorney at law, PLLC. I just named it after the business. Okay. You didn't know that you could do little ats for your Facebook too? Type in at Overnight Empire into your Facebook search at one point in time.
I'm just at it the lawyer at all times.
That makes sense. Let's see here. Regular Facebook page. Nobody friend me on my regular Facebook page. I don't take requests from people that I haven't eaten with. Or in the case of Bree here, had a very we still haven't eaten together, Bree. We got to figure that out.
Yeah.
COVID kind of threw a wrench in our food.
It did.
And I'm still working on that Clubhouse. I'm still working on that Clubhouse thing. We're going with Attorney Aaron on that one, but I just got to find myself a device for it, stake out my digital real estate.
There you go. Okay. And phone number?
214-789-1354. That's the business and the cell. Don't wear it out because, I still litigate. So
don't wear it out.
Too friendly if you take up my time.
I still live here.
No, I still litigate. So it's like I have zero problem with telling somebody off if they, call me wasting my time. Like it just, we don't play that game.
Right. I like it. Lauren, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, we're at Cadillac Law, CADILACLAW. That's on literally
1L.
1L. Cadillac.
That's how I have to, every time I put down her name, I have to remind myself it's only 1L because everything I have defaults to 2.
Yes.
1L in Lauren, 1L in Cadillac. That's how you can remember it. Okay. Our number is 972-845-1200 and the website cadillaclaw.net. Don't forget to check out our YouTube because that is full of tons of really great information. And Bree, I have your number memorized, so I'm going to say it because I just think it's so great.
Go ahead.
833-4-BREE-LAW.
That's right. That is I.
In the Bree rhyme, so I just love it. Like 833-4-BREE-LAW.
And that is 1-833, the number 4, BRI law. Okay. So that's how you guys can contact me. Also, you can find me on Instagram at Issa, ISSA _lawyer, not Isa. It's a lawyer, like it's a lawyer. I have to explain that every time I wear my shirt or my hoodie. Also, you can find me on Facebook at the Bethancourt Law Firm.
All right.
As always, on Fridays, I close at 1. So it's 11. You have 2 hours to get to me. And then it'll be a Monday. So I think that concludes our show, guys.
It does. Thank you, everyone, for joining us again. And we will see you next week. I can't remember who our guest is, but we do have one.
It's somebody.
It's somebody awesome. Thanks, Erin, for coming.
Thank you all for the invite. And we're gonna work on those additional, revenue streams because every 3 that you come up with is a business plan.
Boom. I'm gonna work on my first one today. I'm gonna show that up, and then I'm gonna text it to you, Erin, because I didn't like your face. I didn't like your face when I told you my triangle.
Oh,
okay.
was I talking?
Was I talking?
Like, no, it was the reaction you made to her.
Know that I look at both of y'all as like representatives of, someone that I want my future daughter to be like. Okay, strong-willed, independent, like just soul forces of personality, right? Like that's awesome. So I feel like whenever I tell you guys what I'm thinking, just because I'm sitting down and I'm putting this together, like, okay, where are I know how to do this. I know how to do this. What third value proposition or what third thing do I need to go learn so that I can have an additional revenue stream? And the reason I'm challenging y'all to do the same thing is because, I've got people who are challenging me and it's going to work out really well. Like 2021 is going to be a great year and I wouldn't be y'all's friend if I didn't, give you a side eye if you weren't able to identify those for yourself.
And you a real one.
Because who wants to actually practice law their entire life? Like, I love what I do, but like, get a couple associates and go work on a bank, get a couple associates, go work on an insurance company, get a bank and an insurance company and a law firm rolling up. I'm gone.
That's it. And this show's for entrepreneurs because we're entrepreneurial. It's not just about being a lawyer. It's about running a firm and a business and creating business. So
I like to just throw out there for one of my triangles that I'm gonna work on it, and I really am gonna give it to you, Erin. I want to have several rental properties. I have one. I already have one. So my thing is to have several rental and Airbnb properties under my belt. So real estate is definitely something. I know Cadillac, you said that.
Hell yeah. Woo woo. Okay, thanks everyone for joining. Great show. Bye.